You are watching the True Word Television, spreading the true word of salvation.
Deserve to be in your presence tonight, but all I can do is fail myself. True, I know that I've messed up so much, a lot of mistakes made, but all I can do is humble myself. Cause you say, as come as you are, I've come as I am, to nobody else but you. You can use anything, Lord, cause you can use anything. Please, God, here I am. So use me now, today I come. I'm available, I'm available, cause you are able to use me now, today I come. I'm available, I'm available, cause you are able. Here I am back to you. Here I am once again. Lord, I'm available. I leave my past behind. I choose to follow you. I choose to live for you, Lord. I choose to do your will. Cause you say, just come as you are, I've come as I am, to nobody else but you. And then if you can use anything, Lord, cause you can use anything, please, God, here I am, Lord. So use me now, today you come. I'm available, I'm available, I'm available. Yes, you are. Cause you are able to use me now. I sing, I sing. I'm available, I'm available. Yes, you are. Cause you are able. Whoa. My heart, my soul, my mind, all of me, I give myself away, away to you, Lord, with everything.
Hello again and welcome to this episode of Live Limitless with Dr. Shade. I am excited that you could join me. I'm very happy to be here with you today, and I have what I believe is a very exciting episode. Exciting because most of it is from you. I got some amazing questions from the last episode that made me really happy. The reason why this makes me happy is that I get to hear your heart. I get to hear the kinds of issues you want me to discuss. You get to hear my heart, and we can together build one another and learn together. So I'm going to spend the beginning portion of this episode responding to some of the questions that you all sent last week. Most of them in the comment section. I will take those questions one after the other, and we will delve into them. I'd like to encourage this level of participation. It made me really happy to see how much engagement the last episode got in terms of how many questions came out. The reason why this is very important is that if you have those questions, most likely somebody else too does. And in answering in giving an answer or response to your inquiry, thereby we're helping several other people who probably have the exact same questions, exact same challenges, exact same uncertainties, but have not either found a way to put it through, or did not even know how to frame it. So thank you again for sending in those questions. And I'm going to encourage you to do the same even on this episode. Give all the comments that you need to put. I'll be very excited to see them. I'll also like it very much if you drop your questions in this episode as well. So I'm going to go straight to the questions that came up and discuss them. The first question, and it's in no particular order, it's just how I copied it when I received them and I started to respond to them. First question reads, what can we do to live our dreams? It says, what can we do to live our dreams? This question is very exciting, and I think is an amazing question because it speaks to the very core of what this program is about. This program is about living limitless. It's about living a life without limits, a life that is not hindered, a life that is not given to obstructions and limitations. So it's really about living our dreams. Before I answer this question, I'm going to take the time to define what it even means when we say we're living our dreams. In general, when we say we're living our dreams, it means that we are pursuing what truly is important to us in life. So living the dream means you're achieving your goals, your aspirations, and your purpose. It means that you're living a life that you could only have imagined, a life that you never thought would happen. So when you say you're living a dream, it means that you're able to wake up every morning feeling a sense of deep satisfaction, feeling like you're doing exactly what you were made to do. So you get this sense of purpose and of fulfillment and happiness, whether it's in your professional life or in your personal life. So basically, when we talk about living the dream, it's not just about specific outcomes. It's not about reaching a certain level of success necessarily. It's more about experiencing a sense of meaning, of joy, and of fulfillment in your daily life. So when you are living your purpose, it means that you are finding you're finding your true passion and your true purpose in life. It requires you to be true to yourself. If you're going to ever live your dream, you have to be able to take risks and be prepared to work hard towards achieving those goals. Okay? So, again, be prepared that when you are in the process of living the dream, there will be obstacles, there will be challenges. And learning from the failure along the way is what makes you able to achieve or live that dream. Actually, it is only failure if you don't learn anything from it. When you take lessons from a situation and you ride on those lessons to do better, you have not failed, you have learned. So I'll now be able to go on, having established that ultimately dreams lead to a sense of accomplishment. It leads to a sense of purpose. It leads to a sense of fulfillment. And that's what makes it worthwhile. How do we go then ahead to live our dreams? I stated when I was defining what it is to live your dream, that you have to know that it's about attaining values. Now, how do you even know when you've attained a value if you don't know what those values and passions are? So the very first thing is you have to establish what are your values, what are your passions, and what are your strengths. If you did not listen to the last episode, please go play it and you'll see the purpose of playing to your strength. You'll see why it's very, very important for you to play to your strength. Now, how do you play to a strength if you don't even know it? You have to take time then to reflect on what really matters to you. What is important to you? What do you truly believe in? What are the deal breakers for you, right? What brings you joy? What are you naturally good at? What brings you pain? What do you feel like you need to solve? You put all this together and begin to understand yourself at a deeper level. It is when you're able to do that that you start to identify what your own personal true dreams, goals, and values are. And then you begin to take action that will align with those values and those goals. Okay, so that's number one. Become aware of your true passion, values, and goals. It takes me to number two, which is taking action. I talked about your values aligning with your action. No matter how well you know your value, no matter how deeply you understand your passion, if you sit on it and you don't do anything about it, then nothing happens. And that dream will just remain a dream and never a reality. So the very second important part of living a life of your dream, or being able to live out your dream life, is the ability to take action. There are three groups of people in life in general. The first group don't know what they're supposed to do to achieve their dreams, and they don't do anything about it. There's a second group, which to me is a more dangerous place to be than the first group, are those who know what to do to attain their dreams, but will not do what they need to do to get there. They're not prepared to pay the price. They're not prepared to do the work, and they're not ready to do what it will take to achieve that dream. Number three group of people are those who know what they're supposed to do to achieve their dream and are working towards it. Now, that group three can split into several levels, because we're at different levels of pursuing our dreams, right? So there are people who are at the beginning stages of pursuing that dream. There are people who are more advanced. There are people who are doing it more aggressively. There are people who need to work hard on even how much effort they're putting into achieving their dream. But the important thing is for you to be in group three and actually, actively, intentionally working towards your dream. So that's number two, action towards attaining the dream. Now, to take action, it means you have clear goals. If you're going to be able to take actions, you need to have those very clearly defined goals. And that, again, comes from an understanding of what your values and passions are. Then you break those goals into achievable plans and begin to take consistent steps towards achieving it. You see, one big goal is just the achievement of smaller goals. So when you break goals down and you begin to achieve them, every time you achieve one goal, every time you succeed in achieving one small goal, it energizes you, it motivates you, and it encourages you to do more. And then you do the next, you do the next. By the time you look back, you've achieved a big goal. So step number two is about taking action. Some of us have heard the story of Thomas Edison. He's the one with the favorite quote saying, "I did not fail 1,000 times. I only found 999 ways by which it won't work." So if you have that consistency and that ability to stay there and take action, you're on your way to achieving your goals. Now, in the course of achieving your goals, we mentioned earlier that you will face risks, you will face challenges, you will face obstacles. The number three thing I'm going to tell you about achieving or living the life of your dream is you have to cultivate a habit of persistence and resilience. I'm talking about dogged conviction that what you're doing is the way to go, and doing it with dedication. Because obstacles will come, like we said, challenges will come. You can't wish them away. Failure will come. It means you'll do some things that will look as if, oh, is it time to quit? But it is that resilience that will keep you going. And when I say failure, I usually put it in quotes, because it's not really failure if you learn from it. It's just you've learned one more way, it won't work. Then you try it another way, and you try it another way. You see, the goal is the ultimate, right? sometimes you have to adjust the way you arrive at that goal. As long as you are sure what your goal is, you keep reevaluating, and if what you're doing is not working, you find new ways by which you will achieve those goals. So developing resistance and the ability to bounce back when you face those obstacles is what will keep you focused on your goals and will cause you to persevere when the going gets tough. Remember how the tough gets going when the going gets tough? You have to be resilient. You have to develop thick skin when it comes to your purpose and when it comes to your goal. That is how to achieve living our dreams. So, just to summarize, you need to cultivate self-awareness, know yourself, know your values, know your goals, know your purpose, and know what drives you. Be ready to take massive action. Sometimes this action will be imperfect. Just take action anyway. Keep trying it, because if you're waiting for the time when you'll be fully prepared or when everything will line up, you might end up not taking any action. So just keep taking imperfect actions and learning along the way. That is what will lead to the next step, which is resilience in the face of challenges. And as long as you do this, you begin to overcome all your obstacles and you make that dream life a reality. I hope this helps someone, and absolutely please leave more questions for me in the comment section, and if you have any contributions to make to this, I'd like to hear them as well. Okay, so that was the first question that we received. I'm going to go into the next question, but this is not the end of it. We want to keep the discussions going. If you have more questions even in line with this, don't feel like because I've answered it you cannot ask again. If there's something that was not answered here, please ask again. If there's a contribution you can make to enrich this conversation, please leave it in the comment section, and I appreciate it very much. Okay, so takes me to question 2, and it says, when your husband limits your dream, then what do you do? When your husband limits your dream, then what do you do? I think this is a very, very important question, and I thank you for asking it. I'm going to say right away that in working with women and girls, I find that as we pursue our dreams and as we want to move forward in our passion, it can be incredibly challenging when the people who are not supporting it or who you feel are not encouraging you in that dream are the people that you love. It's not only husbands. There are cases where it's a parent, it's a brother or a sister, and it can be a wife as well who is not supporting the dream of her partner. That said, it does happen, and it's a feeling of frustration when you feel like the people who should have your back or the people who should support you no matter what seem to be the people either not encouraging you or outrightly even discouraging you in your quest to live a dream. So I want you to know that I'm not undermining that, and I acknowledge that it does happen. Actually, I come across it quite frequently. So hold that on one side. I want to establish another fact. So that's one fact I established there. I just want you to hold it. The second fact is that you are in control of your life. You are in control of your dreams. You are in control of your decision. The vision was given to you. The dream is inside of you. It's a pregnancy you are carrying. Nobody gets the symptoms but you. Nobody feels the movements but you. Nobody knows the if it's agony, if it's joy, if it's delight, you feel them and it is yours. Ultimately, the desire and the ability and the power to pursue your dream is yours, to create the life you want. So I want these two things established, and then I'll go on to answer this question. If we are good there, there's just one major thing you need to do. If, like this question, your husband in this case, is the one you feel is limiting your dreams. However, it is a multifaceted one thing. What do I mean? Before you are able to do that one thing, I have 4 assignments for you. So it's one thing you're going to do, but before you do that one thing, I want you to establish 4 things. Are we still together? Does it make sense? I know those of you who watched the first episode know what I'm talking about when I say, does that make sense? So, please follow me on this. When you are talking about trying to, get support from your husband in living your dreams, remember again that I said the passion, the dream is yours. Now, have you ever met a good salesman? Have you met someone who you would say this person loves what they're doing and they're selling it very well? What sets them apart is the absolute belief in what they are selling. Think about the time that you got your best friend to buy something that you have. Maybe you bought this pair of shoes and your friend saw it and it's really pretty. What makes that friend go and buy the same shoe? It's your buy-in and the way you sell the shoe that convinces the next person that, these shoes are really comfortable, they're really pretty, and they deliver on everything that you think they deliver on. I think you should get one too. So I'm taking you back to ownership. I'm taking you back to the fact that you have to have enough excitement, enough clarity about your goals to sell it to another person. If you are also unsure of the goals, if you are unsure or unclear of what these goals are, how are you going to sell it to another person? So that's number 1. I said I had 4 assignments for you. Number 2, let's take it that now you're clear on the goals. You've researched what the dream is and what it is you want to do, and you've gained some clarity. I mean, you won't know everything. Honestly, if we wait until we know every single thing, we won't do anything. But to a good extent, you are able to sell that dream to another person. Now, I want you to establish what are the benefits of those goals to the family. Yes, to you, because you're the dream carrier, but also to your husband. And if there are children involved or if there's extended family affected, what are the benefits of that dream or those goals or that passion you want to pursue? What are the benefits to us as a family? You have to be able to establish that. I guess even as a woman, if your husband walked into the house one day and said, I'm going to take a decision that will significantly change our lives the way we know it. Maybe it requires you to invest some money. Maybe now you need to take some more time away from the family. And I won't be available to take the children to their sports anymore because I want to pursue this goal. Just out of the blue. You'll probably feel his temperature to see, are you okay? Like, what's going on? What's this about? So you need to be able to establish what the benefits are of that thing. But if he says to you, it's going to lead to a promotion that will double our income, I bet you'll be the first person to say, when can I drop you? Or what do you want me to take off your table, right? So you have to be able to establish what the benefits are. Number 3, because I'm talking to women, okay? We are very passionate people. It's one of the things that set us apart. It's one of the things that make us special. Jesus had a lot of compassion, a lot of passion. So we are special like that. However, our passion, the fact that we're passionate goes both ways. And sometimes we struggle with keeping our emotion under check. Now, a person who's going to live a limitless life, one of the things you have to be able to do is master your emotion. You have to be able to regulate it because we are naturally wired to be emotional. That's why when a friend is sick, You are the one who goes to, you check on them, you take food to them, you're willing to help them, you drop your own things and you go for them, you help them, you support them, and you make sure that they are well. And you are uncomfortable until they are well. It is that same passion that will make you have a friend who everything is going on well, you agree on many points, and you absolutely understand each other, and your values are the same on 1, 2, 3, 7 things. And then you disagree on one single item. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. You disagree on one single point and hell can let loose. Like, the person can go to hell if for all you care, because they don't agree with you on that one point. You are going to go after them as if you've been enemies for life. It's that same passion, right? Unfortunately, if we don't moderate it, the same passion that can be a builder can be a destroyer. So at this point, when you're very passionate about doing something and you feel like someone is standing in your way, the way you allow the passion in you to express, the way you allow your emotions to show forth is very, very delicate at this point. Because we're not talking about a relationship that is that you can just pretend is not important, right? We're not talking about one of the relationships that you can say, you know what, if it's not working, that's it, it doesn't matter, right? This is one where you have to make sure that your emotions are not overriding your reasoning. Emotion under control here means we're going to stay with the facts. We're going to stay with the actuals. Not, oh, you're not supporting me and you must not be a good person kind of thing. I'm dealing with this in the context where you're having a healthy relationship otherwise with your husband, but you just feel that he's not listening on this part and you don't feel supported. Okay? So if it was a tumultuous kind of relationship already, that's a different discussion. But here is a couple where it is a healthy relationship. However, I have this dream that I want to live out. I have these goals I want to attain, and I don't feel supported, and I don't feel like he is encouraging me. Okay? Now, when we've talked about emotions coming under control, it's going to take me to the fourth prerequisite before we do the actual thing to correct this issue of not being supported. Choice of words. You see, that emotion also, and that deep passion that we have as women, sometimes causes us to use terminologies and words that rather than build can destroy, right? You know how when something is not going our way, it's like, you know what, you're not going to support me, it's either my way or the highway. Like me, I'm sure you have friends that you have conversations with. I immediately right now, I'm thinking of two of my friends. If I want to discuss the same exact thing with both of them, when I'm talking to A, I'll say it in a particular way. I'll say it in a way that honors our relationship, honors where we're coming from, honors how we got to know each other, honors how we speak to each other and how we understand. I know the things she will understand. I know the parts of that conversation she will resonate with. So I say it to her in a particular way. I'm saying the exact same thing. When I call this other friend of mine, we'll call her B, I'll say the same message to her. I'll say it in another way. I'll say it in a way that she can resonate with. I'll say it in a way that honors her and honors the relationship that I have with her. Excuse me. That said, you have to be careful what words you're selecting. It's not a case of, if you're not supporting me, then you must be a bad person and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Let me tell you one very interesting thing I've found out in dealing with situations where a person doesn't feel supported by loved ones. Whether you realize it or not, a lot of times these loved ones are trying to protect you. It sounds ridiculous, right? But a mother who doesn't support you to go play soccer and not go to school is not necessarily against your soccer playing. She is scared that everything she knows about life and the fact that you need to school to be successful, you're ignoring it. She's trying to protect you by saying, no, choose school over soccer. She's not against your soccer and she's not trying to limit your soccer. I'm just using that as an example. But a lot of times when we feel like a person who loves us or a person we love it's not supporting us, sometimes they are trying to protect you. You feel like you don't need their protection, but that's their intention. It's not all the time, but sometimes that's what's going on. Now, when you have all these four things together, I hope somebody is following me and getting where I'm going with this. When you have all these four things together, you are clear about what the dreams are. You know what the benefits will be to everybody, including him who's not encouraging you. You have your emotions under check, and you have processed the words you will use. Then you will do this one thing. Communicate openly and honestly. What am I talking about? You need to start by having an open and honest conversation. Don't do it casually. You and I know how to communicate when we want something, when we want someone to hear. I just gave you an example about two different friends of mine, female friends. When I want them to hear and when I want them to move, I know the way I'll say it to this one that will make her act. I know how I'll say the exact same message. And we're women, we know how we do these things. When we want our children or our husbands to listen, if it means preparing a special meal for him, if it means creating an environment or an atmosphere where you say, look, we need to have this discussion and it's important to me. Get him in a situation where he can listen, where he is open to listen, not at a time when he's not ready. And we all know what I'm talking about. When you get him to listen, share those dreams and aspirations with him. Share the benefit that it will carry with him. In a leveled manner, your emotions under control, your words being carefully selected, and then give him a chance to also express to you what his concerns are, because you probably are not sure why he is not supporting you and why he seems to be the one limiting your dreams. When you come with that openness of mind, you will be able to listen to his concerns. You will understand where he is coming from, and because you've done your assignments, you'll be able to put his fears to rest. And then you'll be able to let him see your side of thinking and your reasoning. And if he has fears like, oh, somebody else did that, I know someone who did that and they lost money, or I know someone who did that and it did not turn out well, then you would have done your assignment enough to say, oh, I'm aware of that pitfall. I have hired so thing, or I know someone who will walk me through, or whatever your solution is. And that would be the way to go. I hope this helps someone. I hope again that if you have any more questions about this, you will go ahead and leave the comments for me in the comment section. If you have contributions, I want to hear them. Please add your voice to this and let us grow together. Okay, so that was question 2. I'm going to question 3 now. It says, what should someone do when you're about to make a decision and someone challenges your integrity? Is self-doubt a weakness in this situation? What will you suggest? So Basically, you're about to make a decision and someone challenges your integrity. Is self-doubt a weakness in this situation? What will you suggest? That is an amazing question, and I'm excited that this should come up. Now, of course, we know that as women who want to live limitless lives, integrity is not negotiable. Our integrity is the most important currency that we have, right? So when someone challenges your integrity, it can be a very, very difficult situation for you to navigate. So it's natural for you to question yourself when the issue of integrity comes up. Okay, it's very natural, and actually you have to do something about it when your integrity is in question. But here is what to do. This is how to handle the situation when your integrity is called to question. The first thing you have to do is take a step back. You have to take a step back before reacting to that challenge. At this point, what you're doing is not called self-doubt, it's called self-examination. Step back, assess the situation, and then ask yourself this sincere question: is there any truth in that challenge? If there's any truth in that challenge, analyze what that truth is. You see, we talked a lot about validation and women needing validation a lot. The fact that an observation that someone made is true does not change the fact that you might have considered that truth even in taking your decision. However, if you find that there's a truth that actually shows that there's an oversight, then that's your opportunity to correct it, okay? To take responsibility and correct it. If you consider that the truth the person has raised should change your decision, you have a golden opportunity here to say, oh, thank you, I didn't say it that way, and actually correct it. Or to say, thank you, actually, I'm aware of this truth you have raised, and I still made my decision even knowing this truth. Again, be aware that if the challenge is causing you stress, you might need support, right? You might need, and there's nothing wrong with asking other people to help you, to guide you, or to give you different perspectives. There's nothing wrong with getting opinion from other people. But ultimately, be aware that even when people establish truths for you in a situation, it is still up to you to check your values, your motives, your intentions, and your personal goals to determine whether or not that should change the decision you're about to make. But do consider it, do step back and take time to consider it. That act of stepping back is not self-doubt. It is self-evaluation. And it's a good thing. Now, once you've taken time to examine that, and sometimes you've sought support from your family, friends, a professional even, sometimes, if depending on what the decision is. If you need to get back to the person, if you need to, not everything needs to be answered to, okay? There are times when you need to be aware of a situation, do the corrections, and move on with your life. There are other times when you need to get back and let the person and respond. Usually you might need to respond if it's an important relationship, or if the decision you're about to make affects the person. Otherwise, honestly, thank them for bringing it to your attention. Assure them that you've considered all the facts and do your life, okay? But if you do need to explain to them, this is time to calmly, very, very calmly, And confidently now, because you've taken time to evaluate the situation, respond to them. You're not trying to challenge them. You're not trying to antagonize them, but carefully, you're not being defensive and you're not attacking the person. Explain to them why you're making that decision. Or if you're making any changes as a result of what they've brought to your notice, also advise them of that. If you have any evidence to show at that time, it's good to also bring it up and say, oh, you misunderstood this. This is the actual fact, and here's the evidence, if that is important. Okay? I just want to be clear that the second part of this question said, is self-doubt bad in this situation? I want to reiterate that self-doubt is bad in every situation. But what you're doing in this situation is not self-doubt. It is evaluation. This helps someone, please again, leave your comments for me. Leave any further questions. I would love to get your feedback. Also, because you might have questions that somebody else has too, and when we answer you, then that person also gets value. Question 4. I hope people are learning something from this, and I'm really excited. I cannot tell you how happy I am that you all engaged to this level. Question 4 says, what should people do not to seek validation? What should you do not to seek validation? You see, seeking validation from others can be a natural human tendency. It's just the way we are conditioned by society, right? Especially among us women, we have societal expectations and gender roles that have created an avenue that makes it look like we always need to seek validation from others. Because as women, we're expected to be nurturing, we're expected to be empathetic and submissive. Society has trained that that's how we should be. Unfortunately, it's a thin line between teaching the concepts of nurturing and empathy and lack of confidence and needing to validate everything that you do. It's a very thin line. Okay? Unfortunately, some of these insecurities are reinforced by the people who are closest to us. And, oh, women are not supposed to be bossy. Oh, keep quiet, you're too loud, a woman shouldn't talk so much. Oh, a woman shouldn't study that kind of course. What time are you going to have to take care of your family? Oh, a woman should not, oh, you're a girl and you're sitting here and you should know how to cook. Who's going to marry you? Kind of thing, right? Unfortunately, it can, without being the intention, it can lead to limiting beliefs. You can begin to start seeing yourself as not worthier, less important than the male, like your brothers who are in the house with you. And it kind of sometimes leads to unhealthy self-worth. Okay? Now, a lot of times these things start out when we're young as girls, right? Remember when you're maybe in primary school or high school, all the hip girls, you want to fit into their groups, right? They form cliques, and you're looking for a way to break into that clique. Unfortunately, they also, being immature and needing to put somebody else down to feel important, constantly talk you down or or rubbish everything you do, everything you're doing in an attempt to join their clique. They're trying to put you down. They try to lord it over you so that you always look up to them. And a lot of girls never really outgrow that. That period of insecurity, that period of not being accepted, that period of being told that you're not qualified to join our group. And they seem to be the ones that are making everything happen in school. Unfortunately, girls grow into women, and some women still never outgrow that. It takes an amount of self-awareness. It takes a level of confidence for everything around you to be raging and you are standing and just looking at them. It doesn't happen overnight. And that's why we have to constantly encourage girls especially to build self-esteem, to know who they are, so that they can stand in the face of this kind of adversity. The girls who break out of this limitation faster are those that have some serious support around them, of people encouraging them and telling them they are worthy. So when they receive such negative vibes from school, when they come home or get surrounded by the people who are supposed to be caring for them, and then they get the encouragement, it kind of neutralizes it a bit rather than being beaten from both sides. So you're with the people who love you, they call you names, they tell you how unworthy you are, they read meaning into everything you do. You go to school, you're not accepted. So a lot of these young girls struggle. I'm talking about young girls because that's what led us to be the women who we are now. It's from those traumas, it's from those pains, those uncertainty that a lot of women have still not healed today. So, how do we not need to seek validation? What should we do not to seek validation? First, I'm going to take you back again to knowing yourself, your values, your beliefs. Be very clear about who you are, about what should affect you internally, what you're allowed to go into you and change you, who you give permission to affect you, the way your decisions, the way you think. You know, a lot of times people who've never lived the life you've lived, people who don't know where you're coming from, people who don't know the things that you know, want to determine how you should live your life. It's ridiculous, but it's the reality. So you have to know yourself. You have to also be clear what your deal breakers are. Like you need to know the things that are non-negotiable for you. Once you do that, it becomes easier for you to take decisions that will align with those beliefs. When you are in a place where you can take actions that align with your beliefs, you are less likely to seek validation because you're already basing those decisions on strong beliefs. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, the decision is based on something already. That way, you're not needing validation from another source. Because the reason why we go externally is because our why inside is not strong enough. If you know why you're doing something, it really does not matter who understands. I mean, we're not trying to displease people, but we're not going to live lives trying to please people either. That the aim is not to displease them, but really the aim is not to please them. That's why I said last week, you will have to make decisions that some people will not understand, and you have to be okay with that, because it is okay for some people not to understand. Now, once that is clear, you have to, once you recognize your own feelings and you appreciate them, your decisions, you can own them. Now, set personal goals. When you set personal goals, it's a powerful way to be responsible for your own growth and development. I'm talking about taking responsibility again, because when you set goals that align with your own beliefs, with your own goals, you can achieve them without looking for validation. Again, you should seek advice from professionals, from other people you think might be able to add value. As a matter of fact, it's very good to have people that you can have as sounding boards. Sometimes you want to do something, you should have someone you say, hey, I'm thinking like this, what do you feel? But then you have to be careful who these people are, because you shouldn't let everybody into that space. It's a sacred space. It's a space that can make or break you. It's a place of purpose. It's a place of lifting. It's a place of incubating vision. It's a place of planning growth and actually becoming you. So it's not everybody on the street, whatever their name, whatever their title, that you should let into that space. It's people you know who have your best interests at heart, and you just run things by them, or a professional, or people you think might know. Being aware that what you are doing is seeking counsel, you are under no obligation to use the suggestions they give you. And they have to be people who are fine with that as well. Because it goes into, it becomes manipulation if a person insists that you must do what they say. You don't have to do what they say. You ask their input or suggestions or what they think about what you're planning to do, or if they have any contributions to make. But it has to be people who will build you up, who will not tear you down, who will not insist that you do what they say, but who will add positive influence. I hope that helps. Once you do this, you find less and less the need to seek validation from others. That's question 4. I'm going to try quickly to go to question 5 before we end today. It's looking to me like all we're going to be able to do today is answer these questions, and I am fine with it. I'm very fine with it because rather than come and say to you the things that I think you want to hear, here are the questions you are asking, which tells me that these are the topics you would rather I'm speaking to. So I'm very satisfied to take the time to answer these questions with as much detail as I am doing today, knowing that if these are questions that you have struggled with, I don't want to just give you things you cannot use. I want things that you can begin to implement and begin to see changes right away, even as you ask more questions, and don't hesitate at all. More than that, if you are benefiting from some of these topics and some of the answers that you're getting, I encourage you to please share this program. Invite someone else to watch. Let them join us next week. Let them drop their questions in the past episodes, and let other people also benefit from this and learn. This takes me to question 5, and I'm looking at the time, and it seems like we're not going to be able to go into the topic of today. Like I said, very fine, and I'm happy to do that in the next episode. Question 5 said, is it bad to always consult others before making hard decisions? Like we said for question 4, talking about seeking validation, consulting others before making decisions is not a bad thing. And it is not the same as seeking validation. Because you know what? Nobody knows everything. That's why we consult books. That's why we consult professionals. That's why we discuss and exchange ideas. That's why we have debates. That's why we have other people's opinion. It's fine to seek other people's opinion. It's fine to seek input from other people. It is helpful. It's a helpful way to gather information. It makes you a more well-rounded person. It makes you a better equipped, better educated person if you seek consultation and seek counsel. What you need to avoid doing is seeking validation or seeking approval. Because whether or not you choose to use those inputs, you should still be comfortable with being who you are. And the people you're seeking consultation with should be fine with you not using their input. Seeking input is good. It keeps you more informed. You have to strike a balance between input and relying too heavily on the opinion of others. Because once you begin to rely too heavily on them, then when that person is not there, then you're not able to make those important decisions. You have to be able to draw a line between opinion and lack of confidence in your own judgment. Okay? Hey, I'm about to paint this room red. What do you think? These are the things that we will do in the room. Do you have any other suggestions? You have to be ready to put the facts together, the very reasons why you chose red, the things you're going to do in the room, and how red will work for those things you want to do. And then if the person comes and says, no, you know what, if we use green, it might help, because with green you can change this and you can make that and you can do that. And it's up to you to say, you know what, I have technology that can also make red do the exact same thing you're saying about green. So thank you for your suggestions, but I think I'll stick with red. And the person should be fine with that if it's a healthy relationship. If you find yourself in situations where you're consulting with people who are offended unless you do what they say, there's a problem. I think I have a few more minutes. I'm going to give some tips to help you know how to strike a balance. We're trying here to strike a balance between consulting others before you make hard decisions and relying so heavily on them that you begin to doubt your own self-judgment. Number one is going back to that thing that I've been saying all day, and you're going to keep hearing it from me. Know yourself, your own values and your own beliefs. Before you seek that consultation, what you need to do is have some no-go areas. Just have some non-negotiables. Okay? That way, when you have your own clear values and beliefs, you are able to evaluate the input that you're receiving from others. You can assess whether those are aligning with your values or not. And when they are not, graciously decline to use them and go with your beliefs. Second tip about how you can make sure that you're creating that balance is to seek input from a variety of sources. Don't rely so heavily on one source that when that one source is not there, you're completely useless. You need to be able to get from different sources and take the good from here, take the working one from there, put them together and come up with a solid version that represents you and is taking you closer to your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, and your passion. Number 3, take ownership of your decisions. Ultimately, you are responsible for those decisions. You are going to have to bear the consequences if there are any. You are going to have to bear the glory if there are any. So you have to make sure that there are decisions you can take ownership of. While you're seeking those inputs, be aware that ultimately you have to stand by those hard decisions. So yes, absolutely consult with others, but take the time to ensure that you strike a balance between consulting and relying so heavily on others that you are no longer responsible for your own decisions. I'm going to round up here. I hope this has been useful. I hope some of your questions have been answered. I hope also that it generates other questions, so many that we will have to maybe have special sessions for questions and answers as we go through this program. It's been an absolute pleasure. Again, thank you so much for the level of interaction. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Cheers and take care of yourself.
You are watching the True Word Television, spreading the true word of salvation.
In this world as he is, so am I in this world as he is. I'm going to do it one more time. Get familiar with this song. I'm going to do it one more time. As he is, so am I in this world as he is. That is who I am in this world as Jesus is. So am I in this world as he is. Very simple. So am I in this world. So are you. So are you in this world. I told you it's a very simple song. This on that ground. Everything.
So am I in this world as he is. So are you in this world as he is. So am I in this world as he is. So am I in this world. So am I. I am the righteousness of God. So are you in this world. As he is. So are you. So am I. As he is. So am I.
I told you it's a simple song. The Bible says in the book of 1 John chapter 4 verse 17, herein is our love made perfect. Now may have confidence on the day of judgment. For as Jesus is, so are we in this world. So you are not defined by your feelings. You are not defined by your situation. You are defined by the word of God. And that's what I want to sing again. The next part is very simple. Just follow closely and declare afterwards. Hallelujah. Since he is holy, then I am holy in this world. Since he is righteous, then I am righteous in this world. Since he is blessed, listen to this part. You are radically blessed in this world. Since he is blameless, guess what? Then you are blameless in this world. Since Jesus is who are. Then you are. Since you are radically blessed in this world. Since Since Jesus is blessed, guess what? You are radically blessed in this world. Just the audience one more time. Since Jesus is holy, then you are holy. Since he is holy, then you are and I am. And since he is, then you are and I am. That is what the Bible says. Since you are radically blessed in this world. Everybody now, one more time, everybody. Listen. Oh, Aziz. That is what the Bible says, and I believe it. So am I in this world. Aziz. While you are here on earth, you ask Jesus. So are you and I in this world. As Jesus is. One more time. Aziz, with a message. If Jesus is not depressed, you must never say you are depressed. Listen, you are no longer how you feel. You may feel shy, but you are not your feeling. You are as Jesus in this world. The last time I checked, hey, don't let us scatter this place. The last time I checked, Jesus is not shy.
You are watching the True Word Television, spreading the true word of salvation.